What's up, guys? Penguin Overlord here, and welcome back to Ghost Recon Wildlands with my creepy ass looking face. That is the steampunk glasses and the skull balaclava, in case you were wondering. But that's not what we're here to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about the weapon that I'm holding right here, the Honey Badger. Is it any good compared to the other submachine guns? That's what video is going to be about. Now, I realize this video is a bit late. It's like almost a month since it came out. And a few other people have done videos about it. But I wanted to do my own video and my own testing just to see how it stacked up against the other submachine guns in Ghost Recon Wildlands. And obviously, this took a little bit of time. One, because I wanted to test it a bit more thoroughly than I guess some other people did. And two, honestly, I was just kind of busy with life and stuff, so I didn't get as much gaming as I wanted done. But test protocols have been completed. I've tested everything I've wanted to do with this gun and submachine guns in general, so we're ready to do the video. Now, a couple things you need to understand about this gun first before we get really into the details of this SMG and how it does against other SMGs in the game. So, with these optics, they're all unlocked whenever you start a new character. So, if you load up a new character, either in the main game or Ghost Mode or Fallen Ghosts, or actually any of the DLC really, you'll get all the optics. You also get all of the magazines. Excuse me. So, that's right. So, standard 30 round and the large magazine will be all available to you from the beginning of the game, and that's because it's its own separate caliber, 300 Blackout, or 7.62 by 35 if you absolutely insist on using the metric system. But that's kind of goofy. It's 300 Blackout. Anyway, so that's a thing that the Honey Badger has going for it. Whereas with other submachine guns, when you start off in the game, you'll be limited to the 20 round, or in the case of the Vector, the 15 round magazine. So you've got a lot of firepower right from the beginning, so that's one consideration you should take into account. Now, I did a fair amount of combat effectiveness testing with the Honey Badger and several other SMGs, like the Vector, the MP5, the Scorpion Evo 3, a bunch of other submachine guns. And I've got separate different categories that we're going to talk about: damage, rate of fire, reload, recoil control, all these different things. So we'll talk about that. Now, let's talk about damage first, and let's highlight another gun that a lot of people say it's a clone of, the MP5. That it basically has the same stats or close to them. Now, it is being a little bit different for some reason. Oh, right, because I don't have the 30 round mag equipped, so handling is going to be a little bit better. With handling, it's going to be the same with 30 round equipped. But the point is, a lot of people have been saying it's a carbon copy of the MP5. Based on my testing, I would kind of disagree. Yeah, it's got the same stats here, but it does seem to do a little more damage, and it also seems to penetrate a little bit better. So let's focus on damage first. Now, from everything that I've seen with the Honey Badger, it will kill things from 3 to 4 rounds in general. The MP5 does seem to take an extra round, and with the Vector and the Scorpion Evo 3, it seems to take an extra round or two. So, and I'll have video overlaying this of shooting different guns throughout the review video. But so what I've seen so far is, like, with the Vector, at one point it took like 5 rounds to kill an enemy. Well, the Honey Badger took 3. So that's something you need to take in consideration. This SMG hits pretty hard. It also penetrates far better than its stats suggest. I've been able to take out helicopters with a single 30 round mag with this gun. So don't let the stats fool you. It does seem to penetrate. Well, I mean, it's a little inconsistent, because like sometimes you can take down a helicopter, or sometimes I can't punch through like a wooden fence or something like that. So I don't know. It's a little wonky, but it does perform fairly well. Now, rate of fire. It is on the slower side for various SMGs. Obviously, it's got like half the rate of fire of the Vector, which is just insanely fast. It doesn't necessarily need it because it does hit harder, but you are going to lose out towards various SMGs. It's going to lose out to other various SMGs in regards of rate of fire, which for a submachine gun, in my opinion, you kind of need a higher rate of fire because they don't penetrate as well as assault rifles, and they don't do as much damage, so you want to shove out more bullets in a quicker amount of time, which is one thing the Vector really has going for it, for example, because you can, like, dump 8 bullets in a blink of an eye. It's crazy fast. So that's another consideration for the Honey Badger. It doesn't fire as fast, but it doesn't necessarily need to fire as fast. Now let's talk about the reload. This kind of reloads a bit slowly. So this is with the 50 round mag. Oh, that popped up right from the beginning. That's convenient. But as you can see, it's a bit slow, even with the 30 round mag. It's on the slower side for SMGs. Now, the SR635 that I've equipped here, for example, it's significantly fast. And I've got the short barrel equipped on it, so it's going to be even faster. So, it's not the fastest reload, but if you've got a 50 round mag in it, it's less of a factor. So, my personal opinion, use the 50 round mag. You could use the 30 round, I don't really care, but the 50 round mag is nice, considering the next thing we're going to talk about is recoil control. I actually did my second stream. The first part of it was mostly recoil control. Unfortunately, I didn't save the footage, so you're going to see new footage here, but with the shift short angled grip and with good accuracy enhancing stuff like the laser 3 dot, the comp M4, and the shift short angle grip, it does recoil fairly well in terms of submachine guns. And I say that because, truthfully, the recoil in submachine guns is kind of bad in general. It can be really inconsistent compared to like an assault rifle with a grenade launcher, which is what I use the most of the time. The worst offenders are going to be the MP7 and the P90 and the PP19. You really have to fight with your mouse to control the recoil on those. And again, you'll see footage of this, of shooting of it coming up on screen. But the point is that it can be a little wonky, but it's definitely not as bad as some of the other submachine guns in game. But at the same time, it's not the best at recoil control, you know? And when I mean recoil control, I mean that vertical recoil, the gun shooting up, it's going to be on the lower side, but horizontal recoil, it's going to be it depends. It can be a little wonky, but it's mostly going to be stick together. It's not going to veer off in a crazy direction most of the time. But the Scorpion Evo 3 and the Vector are going to do much better jobs. The recoil pattern is much tighter and much smaller. Then that's without trying to control the recoil with the mouse, because that's a more objective testing. So the Vector and the Scorpion Evo 3 are going to do a much better job in terms of recoil with the Honey Badger. But it's going to do a fairly good job. And finally, I did a detection test for all the different submachine guns, and honestly, they all came about, the ones that I tested, which were the Honey Badger, the MP5, the Vector, the Evo 3, the P90, and the SR635, they all came out to 22 meters, so as long as it's got a suppressor attached to it, I don't think the noise reduction between all the submachine guns matters a whole lot. They all kind of seem to perform the same. Now, maybe with the suppressors off, we would get a more clear difference, but I don't see it. So, I wonder, is there anything else that we need to cover with the Honey Badger? Oh, minor. I mean, you guys already noticed, but obviously some parts of the gun are permanently covered. If you're looking for a good camo for the Honey Badger, I would personally recommend, and this is going to take you a lot of work to get there, Gray Python. That looks the best on the Honey Badger in my opinion, because it does kind of match this color fairly well-ish. The blue grip is going to be obviously out of place, but your character's holding the gun, so it's not going to matter as much. Or you could just reset visuals and go with the default color, although you'll have to color your optics and attachments black again just to make it all look the same. So, at the end of the day, is it worth it? Is it worth all the wait to get it and all the trials you had to do? I'd say it's worth it. I mean, it does perform better with if you've got the 50 round mag on it. It's got like one of the highest capacities of all the SMGs in the game, and with recoil, it's going to outperform the P90 and the PP19. So the Honey Badger has got that good for it. It does a good amount of damage. Rate of fire is a bit slow, so it's not going to be my favorite weapon, but it's fast enough to get the job done. So there's that. Now, is it worth buying? Because Ubisoft is going to add this and the ACS-12 to the store after all these challenges are done. And to that, I would say it's going to be up to you, but for me personally, where I'm at with DLC in the game, I'd say no. Because honestly, even though they do less damage, I'd rather take the Scorpion Evo 3 and the Vector if I need to use a submachine gun, which truthfully I personally don't use a whole lot because again, recoil is a little strange and wonky with submachine guns. It's not always the most consistent like it is with, for example, an assault rifle with a grenade launcher, like the LVOA for example, which is my personal new favorite AR, the one my general go-to nowadays, just because it looks cool. I'd honestly rather take that into combat than a submachine gun, but at the same time, this is a good submachine gun. It's better than most in the game, but I don't know if it would be worth necessarily buying unless you loved the concept of the Honey Badger. But that's just my take on it. Let me know in the comments how you guys think of the Honey Badger. Let me switch out to it in game. And yeah, that's honestly my thoughts on it. Good submachine gun. I don't know if I'd buy it, but it's worth the wait, I think. Oh, and it can down helicopters in one 30 round mag. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but if not, I'll leave it in here. And if I did, I'll just cut it out. Anyway, I'm Penguin Overlord. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Honey Badger. Did you think it was worth the wait? Did you think it was worth going through all those different crazy challenges to get it? And how do you like it in game so far? I'd love to hear your opinion out in the comments. Anyway, if you like this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button, like the video, share my content, all that good social media stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.